racing dudes named Aaron and Jared, who had advice on racing and they wanted to share it. Started a website where players go to see all their picks. The goal was make the fans some money and to cut down the risk. They put the plan into motion and at first it seemed silly. Make a website where the expert picks are freer than Willie. From a racetrack veteran to just a beginner, there's one place that you want to go to find you a winner. As a matter of fact, I want to hit the exact, there's only one site that you'll keep coming back to. So next time that the horses all line up at the post, make sure you use the website that'll win you the most. Whether Churchill, Oaklawn, Gulfstream Park, Saratoga, and all tracks in between, there's only one site to go to when it comes to your racing needs and all of your bets. Plus it's got a catchy name that no one ever forgets. RacingDudes.com for all of your needs. RacingDudes.com for all of your leads. RacingDudes.com for all of your bets. RacingDudes.com, as good as it gets. RacingDudes.com for all of your needs. RacingDudes.com for all of your leads. RacingDudes.com for all of your bets. RacingDudes.com, as good as it gets.
What is up? This is Blinkers Off. We're live again on StreamYard, so we got people on here, getting on here right now. Nice little intro, magic inspired. I'm Jared Welch, he's Aaron Haltran. This is Blinkers Off. What's up, man?
What is up, man? Yeah, Magic came strong with the video on Magic Mike's. You got to step your game up.
And I didn't have any time. You know, he really put me on the spot.
He's an asshole. He didn't tell you what he was doing.
I had no idea this was happening, and I thought, yeah, we'll get better. But yeah, that was it's cool to have that. We get let people get on the show a little bit while the music plays, and the you know, it's like a 2-minute long song, so it gives opportunity. But yeah, so. For those listening to the show after the fact, we are doing streaming. We stream on Facebook, live stream on Facebook, Twitter, and our YouTube channel. So in the future, go subscribe to those social media platforms. So that way you get alerted. You can kind of be a part of the show, ask us questions and whatnot. Big show to talk about today with the bluegrass. Yeah, the July bluegrass. You know, we don't see this often, but here we are.
Often as in ever, yeah, but. It's here, yeah. We got the bluegrass. It's gonna be a lot of fun, man. What a good 5 days. It's you know, we've already had 2 days under our belt. We got three more to go at Keeneland. Really good racing. The quality of racing has been really good, and all the cards are now out through Sunday, and it's not going to disappoint. I mean, the best is kind of still in front of us. The Maker's Mark, you know, is coming up on Friday, and then 6 graded stakes on Saturday, and man, it doesn't end.
Yeah, we got a nice. Talk about that today's race. Well, Friday, the Maker's Mark, that's a really nice race there with a couple of Chad Browns that you'll definitely want to hear about. So we'll talk about that race here in a little bit. Obviously, like you said, the big event on the Bluegrass Sports and Kentucky Derby prep race. And it's an interesting field because you have a filly running in the race with Skydiver opting to run in this race versus the Ashland. But on the male side of things, you don't have a lot of, you know, big time horses. You know, you have a lot of horses that need points, a lot of horses that are maybe on the up and coming, maybe they just aren't very good, and that's what we kind of talked about, where you have these horses that are getting in these Derby preps last minute that aren't honor AP, aren't authentic, aren't, you know, the top dogs. Tislaw obviously already has enough points. It's like, you know, are we going to see like an attachment rate or something get in the Kentucky Derby?
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, you think about what the Bluegrass looks like today, or well, Saturday, versus what it would have looked like in April. I mean, it's a totally different race. I mean,
they still got a full field, though. You know,
yeah. And, you know, it's still a big-time race in one of the most important races of the year. I mean, it's Keeneland's marquee event, and that's really all that needs to be said, right? A great meet like Keeneland, and this is the marquee event of the meet. So, yeah, it's exciting. Great field of 13. I think it's a tremendous betting race, especially if you don't like the favorite, which is with Skydiver, the filly that you mentioned. If you don't like her, my goodness, we're going to go a lot of different ways. And this is a filly that's going to take money, and this is a filly that rightfully so is going to take money. So when that happens, it really sets up for these other horses to get good prices on if you can find one you like.
Yeah, so we'll get to that race coming up. Obviously, lots happened last week. We had the Met Mile, and Vekoma ran huge in the Met Mile, one of the fastest Met Miles in history. Mm-hmm. In fact, what do you think of Vekoma?
Well, I thought it was a really good race for Vekoma, for sure. I was very surprised in the tactics of Warrior's Charge. I thought the reason why I didn't love Vekoma in that spot and just kind of used defensively is I thought Warrior's Charge would be the one to really push Vekoma. And I thought they'd get a little tired at the end, both of them.
Yeah.
Well, Warriors Charge kind of stalked the pace.
I know.
He didn't go out there like I thought he would, and all of a sudden, Vekoma, I still wouldn't say it was an easy lead, but he was having to run fairly hard, but he was unpressured, so that's a big difference. So yeah, but don't take anything away from him. He still had to run a tremendous race, and he did. So really impressed by Vekoma. I guess he's a sprinter, right? I don't know what division he's in. They've kind of been talking maybe.
He's got two British Cup, berths right now. So,
yeah, and he won the Bluegrass last year at a mile and 8, so maybe he can, stretch out. I don't know, but
one thing he has turned himself into quite a horse. I mean, he was a decent horse last year, no doubt. He won Bluegrass, but he definitely has completely gotten to another level as a 4-year-old. So
he's a really good horse right now.
Impressive for sure.
Yeah.
I think underneath, the real disappointment was McKenzie.
He was awful.
He had no excuse whatsoever in that race. So you don't really blame any of these horses for not winning because Vekoma ran that good. It's one of those races that he ran. Just what can you do? I mean, we had him. We used him defensively, like you said, and you move on. But McKenzie was one where you're like, there's not he should have ran better, and he just didn't. So he's very, very rare that he ever misses, the board completely, and he did.
Yeah, he sucked.
Let's talk about another Baffert horse, Uncle Chuck, who ran horse that obviously a lot of anticipation with him running with Bob Baffert, another Bob Baffert 3-year-old up and coming. Cezanne was the first one as far as let's say for Charlatan, Nadal, Cezanne.
Right. Yeah. The next
now you've got Uncle Chuck. Wins the Los Alps Derby that really looked a little tested at first at the top of the stretch, 1,000 words, his stable partner. But man, that last like 16th of a mile or so, he turned it on. He looked like he was just getting going.
Yeah, he looked really, really good. I think he's going to have to be dealt with. I think he's a serious player. I don't Cezanne. No, I don't really think he is. I was not impressed with him. But as far as Uncle Chuck, I thought he was pretty impressive. He has to change his leads. They have to teach him how to do that.
I know.
That's going to help him. And you laugh, but that will boost a horse 3 to 4 lengths. I mean, he hasn't changed his leads in either start. So he's got to be able to do that to step up to this next level that he's going to have to be asked to do. So got to change the leads. That's a big thing for him. But a lot of raw talent there with Uncle Chuck.
Let's see. What else did we have last week in Belmont? We had some, Tacitus got the job done. Finally. He looked good. I mean, give him credit. He looked good.
He did look good. His main challenger didn't really run. And Sir, I don't know
what the hell was
I don't know
that?
what Sir Winston was doing. And Moretti looked like he was going to get last, and then he re-rallied for second, which shows you how bad the rest of the field ran. But listen, Tacitus won. So, yay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The thing is though about that, what's going to be funny about that is going to be it's like all of a sudden it's going to be like, well, he's the real deal. That's a classic kind of horse. Yeah. That's what we've all been waiting for. And you're like, well, just tap the brakes. I mean, he didn't do anything really other than beat a field that didn't run at all.
He beat a field he should beat for the first time in a long time. And how about that?
And to be clear, we talked about that a lot on Bleakers Off last week. It was like, listen, This is the field he should win. Everything sets up to where he should win this race. But it's like, how do you trust a horse like Tacitus anymore?
He didn't do anything stupid, and I think that was the big key for him, right?
Yeah.
He just said, don't do anything dumb, you win, and he didn't. So I'll give him credit for that. It was a good win.
And we're going to talk a little bit about some Chad Browns.
When you haven't won a race since April, any win's a good win, right?
Yeah.
So last April, by the way. Last April.
Freaking Wood is the last time that horse won.
Right.
Insane.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about some Chad Browns here coming up. But in Stilled Regard, winning the Manhattan, man, that horse just refuses to not win. I feel like right now.
That was a really good race. Did he win or did Rock Emperor just lose it? I mean, my God, I was so pissed off.
You said it.
You said
it on the show.
Yeah.
You knew that you were going to be upset about that pick. And you know what? In typical Rock Emperor fashion, I'm used to it. I'm used to it. But in typical Rock Emperor fashion, he looked like the winner and then just got nailed.
This was worse than ever.
He just refused.
He refuses to win.
He is the ultimate hanger in the sport right now. I think I tweeted that out after the race. I was like, this horse refuses to win a race.
5 feet from the wire, I thought he was going to win the race.
And like tipping for the wire, you thought Silver Guard might finish like third, fourth, fifth, something like that. And all of a sudden he shoots up the middle of the pack and then jumps up and gets them all. So.
All credit to Silver Guard though. Like he ran a good race. I'm not taking away from that. But man, Rock Emperor, he just stopped and waited on him. I swear. He just stopped and waited on him, and then he got his ass passed. So
I don't know. Okay, so we had the Indiana Derby this week. That was exciting, right? Who was that horse? Shared Power or something like that.
Shared Sense.
Shared Sense.
Got a 92 buyer.
Bullshit horse. But he got 20 points. He's not even Derby. He's not even secondary nominated. Triple Crown nominated, I should say. So he'll have to be. They'll have to pay. I think it's like $40,000 or $50,000 to get it in supplemented. I mean, he's got 20 points. So you've even said on the show that that's borderline where you think it's going to take.
I wouldn't waste the money.
Well, I mean, you get to run in the Derby.
Yeah, there's that. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But it's a Derby where you may not even be able to go watch your horse run it.
That's true.
So what does it really work?
That's true. Let's say we got Keeneland running now.
Yep.
We've got Del Mar opening this weekend. Saratoga starts next week. It's busy.
It's busy.
It's fun, though.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
It's a July like no other. Before we get into the big racing we have coming up this weekend at Keeneland, and we're talking a little bit about Belmont and Delaware, I heard. Best thing you saw today?
For me, I watched the Bing Crosby take a train, take a plane, take a car, which will be mass text to everybody tomorrow morning. I watched it early.
And because you are mentioning this freaking song, which though our friends know, but it's such an annoying song.
You should probably put it on the podcast.
It's going to be playing in the background while we're talking currently on the actual podcast once you hear this live. Because I have no choice. Because I know the majority of you guys love this song, especially, and
I love this song.
Yeah, thanks, Sean. Appreciate it. But no, it's
gonna be a mass text tomorrow. Yeah, I can't wait.
I mean, all kidding aside,
even
though I hate the song,
it's great.
It's great to say. It's like it's here. Del Mar is here. I wish I was at Del Mar.
Hating
no, it's not
Christmas. If you hate that song, you know?
I love Del Mar. The song is like whatever. Okay. This is what I've been waiting for. I don't know if you can see on my notes what the best thing I saw today is.
I can see it.
Can you see it?
Yes.
What does it say?
I can't read.
I'll
let you say it.
My boy Patrick Mahomes, $500 million contract, 12 years. He is in the Chiefs' kingdom for the foreseeable future. My kids will literally grow up to see this guy as our quarterback, something that their dad did not get the chance to do. As a child, we saw all kinds of quarterbacks. It's $500 million. It's the largest contract in sports history. $500 million after incentives and whatnot. 12 years if you include everything on the deal. 12 years.
It's a long time.
I mean, think about this for a second. Cohen, my oldest, will be pushing driving.
Yeah, no, he will be driving. Well, no, yeah.
Close. I mean, close. Yeah. By the time that by the time this deal is done.
Yeah. The Chiefs were the team that used to get that kind of quarterback after he had his
12-year deal. We would pick him up after the 12 years.
Won 4 Super Bowls, and then he's like 38.
I know, right?
Now they actually get to enjoy a quarterback. So, yeah, that was awesome. I'm not like a huge Chiefs fan, but that was pretty dang awesome. And 12 years to lock him up.
It was amazing is no matter what, I mean, it's one of those deals like you knew you was going to get paid. He had to get paid.
Yeah, for sure.
But the way they structured it to make it such a long-term deal, one, it shows you, he's going to be there forever. 2, it shows you they at least they can divide it out enough to try to keep some players still around him.
Yeah,
it's not heavy one year or another, whereas some of these contracts are, and it's hard to keep on the cap.
It's a pretty good deal.
The cap and the cap's going to keep going up with obviously once sports comes back, sports betting is going to take off. You and I have talked about that a lot. I think that's going to be a huge deal. Obviously, the Chiefs being a Super Bowl defending champions, that's going to help with the market as well with the cap. And so things are going to go up for sure.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to be able to keep most of the players. I mean, obviously, it's just the way it works. But I think they're going to be able to keep a lot of the players. So I don't necessarily feel like a huge impact. But it's just good to say, like, he's a kind of guy, kind of quarterback where it's like Brady. He's like, all you need, you just build the guys around him, no matter what it is. You got Andy Reid, who has no plans to retire anytime soon.
Right.
And you got Mahomes for the next 12 years.
Yeah.
That's all you really need, and you can just build it out around it.
Yeah, you're always going to be good with those two guys, no doubt. I mean, you may not win the Super Bowl every year, but you're always going to be good. And that's a good foundation. So yeah, I mean that was big news, no doubt.
Yeah, that was good. Now, a few comments here, but Mahomes will flop in a couple. Good luck, Kelby. Kelby, of course, makes sense. He's a Broncos fan. And Coach Batty, Clayton may finally replace Steve. But yeah, it's time. Don't need the Steve Bono jersey. Mahomes is there. That's always been an issue when you buy a jersey in NFL. If you're like, I don't want to buy a jersey that's going to be, he's going to play for another team. Don't worry about it.
Did you have a Steve Bono jersey? Surely not.
I didn't have a Bono.
You may have had a Gerbach.
Had a Gerbach.
That used to be
I had a Montana, of course.
Well, yeah.
I had. I don't think I had a Castle. I think I had a Green.
Trent Green? I remember Trent Green.
I don't know if I had Alex Smith or not. I think
you were smart enough. You're old enough by then.
I knew better by then. I was like more of like the Kelsey and the I went with like the old timers. Like the Derek. There was a time where it was like I'm going Derek Thomas.
Oh yeah, because that's the only jersey you have.
I know that. Yeah, I could wear it with pride. And know that all these idiots that we have played for the Chiefs, because they're going to be gone in a year or whatever. So
I understand that.
But things have changed. All right, so Mahomes. I know some of you guys hate talking about the Chiefs during the middle of the podcast, but that's the best thing I saw.
It's pretty quick. That was quick though.
Honestly, like by our standards, by my standards, it's pretty good. All right, let's get to it. Today's show we preview Saturday $600,000 Toyota Bluegrass Stakes Grade 2 at Keeneland, worth 140, 20, 10 points to the top 4 finishers of the road to the Kentucky Derby. Then we're going to get some rapid-fire selections for some of the other stakes races happening around the country. Let's go! All right, that's how the sausage is made there.
Don't stop that. I don't like that. Magic actually explained to me what that's from.
What is it from?
I don't remember.
It is supposed to be like you don't want it, like you don't want to see that.
Yeah, it's like there was some kind of behind the scenes from this factory, and they showed how the sausage was made, and it had like fingers and stuff in it. I don't know. That's like the rough details of what he told me. Yeah.
All right, so those of you on the live stream, we're going to do Bluegrass here. Obviously, a very interesting race to talk about. So we'll do Bluegrass, and we're going to do some rapid fire for some of the stakes happening on the undercard of the Bluegrass. We're going to throw in some Delaware Park. We'll get some racing going on there. And then we're going to talk Monomoy Girl. Monomoy Girl makes her kind of next return, greatest stakes return at Belmont in the Ruffian on Saturday. So we'll talk about that one as well a little bit. So big weekend. Ask your questions while we go if you want. All right, you're in charge of the questions because I can't see them come up unless I look over.
You think there's any way I can read those from here?
You can at least see that they pop up.
Okay, all right.
You can say, hey, we got one. Oh, let's see here. Let me pull that race up. The Bluegrass is not the race of the day, by the way, I don't think.
What are you talking about? Oh, it's just
like
in general.
I'm more excited about other races, so which we'll get to.
All right.
All right. 3, 2, 1. All right, Saturday, Keeneland race. Now the Toyota Bluegrass Stakes Grade 2 with $600,000 for 3-year-olds going a mile and an eighth. It is a field of 13, and it's worth Kentucky Derby points. Kentucky Derby points 140, 20, 10 for your top 4 finishers. So even though you have like if you don't count the filly, which we'll talk about, Swiss Skydiver, you have a very below subpar kind of level of horses in here. But winner, really top 2 for sure, are in the Kentucky Derby out of this race, and that's the world we live in right now. Which is why Kenny McPeak said, "Hey, forget the Ashland. Let's run her in with the boys. This is the opportunity. This is the right opportunity." And I don't necessarily disagree. And guess what? She's a morning line favorite. And guess what? I also don't disagree with the morning line favorite because she comes into the race with being the hottest horse. Number 7 is Swiss Skydiver. It's 3-1 for McPeak, Mike Smith to ride. Really, it's a wide open. I mean, there's a few in here that you can I don't see it, but it's that kind of race where if you are going against the filly, take a shot.
Well, here's the deal. I've seen a lot of people say, I don't think she deserves to be the morning line favorite. I don't know who would have been if it wasn't her. Like, who would you have put as the morning line favorite instead of her? I don't really know. There's really nobody that established in this race. Now, do I think she is playable as the favorite on top? No, I really don't. I do think it's a spot where you have to try to go against her for the top, for the win. To me, she's a defensive use in the multis, and even in your trifectas, I think you don't want her to beat you. But I don't think she's the horse you want to bet to win in here. I do think you want to go against her. And if you sit on the top of the show, she's 3-1 on the morning line. I think she will get bet harder than that even. I think she's going to be a strong favorite, and that's going to create some prices and some horses that really shouldn't be that high of odds is what they're going to be. Listen, I think the up-and-coming horse in this field is number 3, Art Collector. I have really loved his 2 races this year, and I kind of feel like they've built him up for this moment. Like, his last race as a 3-year-old, he got DQ'd, but he won by 7.5. Okay, so they changed the trainers to Drury, and Drury's a really good trainer, actually. He's just a guy a lot of you may have not have heard of because he has a lot of lower class horses. But he's a very high percentage trainer. This guy can train horses, okay? So don't worry about him being the trainer. He runs him first at 7 furlongs. He dominates. He stretches him out to a mile 16 for a 2-turn race. He dominates. Now we're going to mile 8. To me, I think he got his hands on this horse early this year when they changed the trainer. And he said, okay, I've got this plan in mind. Once he knew when the bluegrass was going to be, we're going to point for that. To me, he has just come on perfectly. And here's the other thing I like about him. He can come from off the pace and win.
Yeah.
He can be on the lead and win. He's very versatile. And he draws the 3-hole, which I love. I think he can stock this pace. I think he can save ground. That's very important in a 13-horse field. Some of these outside horses, I'm a little worried about going into that first turn. Not him. I think he stalks. I think he sits that pocket trip. And I think if he's got a horse, he's going to be awfully hard to beat.
He's definitely an interesting one because of the fact that, like you say, I mean, he's so versatile. He can do it. He can go straight to the lead, or he can sit off. He's one from away. And it sounds like he sits off of it. Like when he won that race 2-back, I mean, he was well off of the pace. Going 7 furlongs too to close like that. So a horse that's bred to go further. I mean, obviously he won in mile 16th, like you said, last out, and could have gone longer. I mean, he's definitely bred to go longer. So the mile 8 is not an issue. I agree. I mean, he's definitely one that I'm using everywhere. I just think, I think he'll definitely be second choice, right? Yeah. I mean, I think that's pretty clear. Yeah. So I think I'm going to try to beat him just in a sense of value. But he actually, even over Swiss Skydiver, he's like that last race was 100 buyer. That's the only triple-digit buyer in the field coming into this race. So, yeah, I think I definitely don't see him going to the lead because I think there's plenty of other speed, but I think he's going to be able to sit a trip for sure.
He'd never been on the lead until that last race. And it could have just been, it was a 5-horse field and he just kind of fell on the lead. Actually, it was a 4-horse field. There was one scratch. So he could have just fell on it,
Yeah.
But still, yeah, I'm with you. I don't think he goes to the front here. So
the question came in, like, obviously with Money Mike riding, that's huge, coming to ride this horse again,
sure,
going to the front. But who's going to, if he goes straight to the lead, who's going to press the pace? And that's a good question, which would lead us to, obviously, Swiss Skydiver, the favorite, the filly, has done her best racing on the front end. If not on the front end, damn close to the front end. So she, no matter what you think, she is going to have a factor in this race from this just straight pace. She will go fast, and Bason's a horse that likes to be forwardly placed from some regard. So there's a few in here that I think, as far as I definitely could see Shivery. Shivery's a horse that I think drawing the rail, Johnny V getting the mount. That's a horse that I almost went with on top, just because I think this horse is going to move forward, but drawing the rail gives limited options. He's going to go. Yep. He's going to have a factor, but he also is going to have a factor with, say, like we mentioned, the filly, Swiss Skydiver, Basin, some of these horses that are going to go front.
I really think Shivery is going to the front, and I think Swiss Skydiver is going to pin Shivery inside. I think the key to the pace is going to be Basin. I think Basin is the hardest horse to get a read on in this race because
No,
I feel
sure.
like they rushed him to get to the Derby, like back into the Derby picture. And I don't really think he was really showing his best races. Like, I think his best race is actually going to come on Saturday. And I think he's got to be best, or he's got to be forwardly placed to be best. Like, I think that's where he does his best running. So I think if he is up there with those two horses, we're going to see a hot pace. And he could, being outside of Swiss Skydiver, he could kind of press her. He could put her in between horses. And a lot of times when these fillies run against the boys, they try to rough up the trips a little bit. These jockeys, because that's kind of the intimidation factor is kind of what they try to play.
Right.
Whether
the whole boys versus girls,
yeah,
as basic as that sounds,
they buy into it just like the media does and try to hype that up. So I definitely think Basin and Shivery are going to press Swiss Skydiver, and I think they'll make her earn it. But with Mike Smith aboard, I wouldn't expect her to see her anywhere but up at the front.
Yeah, very close, and that to me is the big factor. Like, it sounds very basic, but it's like this race for her goes two different ways. One, she goes straight to the lead and gets the top of the stretch, and she just keeps coming, and she's really like, holy shit, she's that good. Or
I would not be surprised if that happens.
No,
that way.
I wouldn't be surprised by either one of these scenarios. And the second one is where you at the top of the stretch, and you're like, damn, they've been all over her the whole race.
Yep.
She's definitely getting tired. Look, here comes a few of them, and then you got like a hot mess of horses that are coming late. And it's just a matter, like you say, is it Art Collector? Is it Mr. Big News making a huge run? Is it attachment rate? Is it is it Enforceable who's making a big run?
Maybe.
I love how Mott brings in like another random horse, off the turf. But anyways, so I'm gonna go with. So I went back and forth with a bunch of different horses here. I knew pretty much from the start I'm not playing the filly. I'm not playing Art Collector, even though I like both those horses from a talent perspective. It's like the value is not going to be there. I ended up going to the number 10 horse, Rushy, and I can pretty much safely say I don't think I ever thought, especially let's say after this horse finished second by 10 to Charlton, I was like, I'm never going to pick Rushy ever in the future. Here I am, a bluegrass running in July is what it takes. Rushy, a horse that just really has been facing monsters. I mean, plain and simple. Rushy, like I said, broke his maiden, Liam's Matt horse too, by the way, which I'm totally biased by. Charlton gets beat by Charlton, comes back, wins, beats Candy Tycoon, then comes back and runs a career high 97 buyer, but gets beat by Honor AP and Authentic in Santa Anita Derby. But it wasn't like a terrible effort. I mean, this horse ran well, just ran against two monsters. Two of the top three, let's say, horses that we have running right now, 3-year-olds.
Mm-hmm. So
finally, Rushy gets a feel that his toughest competition is a filly, basically. And so I think that I expect this horse to finally get a little bit of class relief. Castellano gets the mount, which is a huge sign that this horse is going to be ready to roll. Has been working well. I think this horse is and here's another thing. This horse has a very tactical advantage in this race, because whereas some of these horses are either going straight to the lead or drop way back like Enforceable, or even Basin could possibly go further back than you would like to see him go or whatever. This horse is pretty consistently running pretty decently high numbers and is very much right there with the pace, but never quite on the pace. And that's why I like him, because no matter how fast they go, he's going to be able to sit the trip, I feel like.
Yeah, he's another one. I wouldn't call him quite as versatile as Art Collector, but he doesn't have to be on the lead. He can stalk. But if they go slow, he can take you wire to wire too. I'm with you. I almost put him on top. I think he's going to be right there. I think him and Art Collector are going to be in a similar spot as far as stalking, kind of not quite mid pack, but that first level of stalkers. And we'll see who has the most run. Here's
the thing: if that's the case, like, all odds aside, if that's the case, in Art Collector and Rushy are side by side in that second tier or whatever, I want Art Collector. I mean, I think he's got more talent, but Art Collector and Rushy are sitting both at 5-1 money line. No way they're going to be the same money line going off.
No, unfortunately for me, I think Art Collector will be bet down from 5-1, and I think Rushy's going to be 6 or 8-1. Mm-hmm. So I get it. Yeah, I'm expecting Swiss Skydiver a clear favorite at about 9-5, and maybe Art Collector's 3-1. People bet the buyers, and 100 buyer is going to take money. It's just that simple.
Well, you got when it comes to Rushy, where a horse that's finished last time out, finished third at Santa Anita Derby, which I mean, you get finishing the RIP and Authentic, but then you look at your horse where this horse came off and wins by 6.5, won 100 buyer. I mean, this horse is like that's the up and coming horse.
In our collector beat Shared Sense by over 6 lengths, and Shared Sense came back to win the Indiana Derby. So it wasn't a great running of the Indiana Derby, but that still means something. So.
Hey, Jade, thanks for joining us. Yeah, we love your page. I appreciate it. Okay, so let's talk real briefly about what happens if Swiss Skydiver. But like that's the thing about what's great about this. We can talk about her real quick. Is like she goes and does nothing. Say she fades to third or fourth or whatever. Then great, she's still great filly, and she's got all the points she needs in the Oaks, and they back. That nothing changes. Say she goes out and wins. All of a sudden, is she like, how legit do you place her, or is it more like, yeah, again, there's just this race sucks, basically?
I tell you what, if she wins, she's right up there, top 3 or 4, because we don't have a lot of depth in this division, which is another reason to try this. If you got 5, 6, 7 monsters sitting there, that's one thing. But we're talking Tis the Law, Honor AP, and then we don't really think the rest of them are all that good. She slides into that 3, 4, 5, 6 range. Right now, they contain horses like Authentic, who were like, yeah, probably not that great. She would be an Uncle Chuck who can't switch his leads and has only raced twice. Like, there's not a lot after those 2 big ones. So I think she slides right up in that spot. She's got to go out and do it, but if she does, yeah, I think she's right there.
I don't have it in front of me. Someone can verify this, but no filly has ever won the Bluegrass, and I believe only one filly in history has ever even tried it. So
really?
It's a very unprecedented thing. Obviously, we're living in unprecedented times right now with that early. It's usually earlier in the year when those horses are definitely pointing towards the Kentucky Oaks, not even considering the Derby, especially when it comes to the Bluegrass. But this is the world we live in. So, and we'll get to the Ashland here in a second, because that's a race that you say, well, the Ashland, Swiss Skydiver, that's where she should run, the fillies. But that race is no joke.
That's right.
And in a race that you're talking, you had nothing to really gain. You know what I mean? Like, she's got the points. Yeah. What does it matter? She's already beat the hell out of Venetian once. So it's like
the argument is a grade 1 is worth a lot for like breeding and things like that. So that's kind of.
Oh, I gotta add this one. I gotta add this one to the.
Oh, my mom. Thank you, Mom.
Halterman's mom.
That is my mom.
Yep. Say hi to Halterman's mom, everyone, please. Halterman's mom has just commented on our feed, so that's everyone listening to the pod.
Yeah.
It's always great to have your mom on the show.
It is, yeah. First time ever. Right?
You better keep it cool, man.
Yeah, I know. I'm not gonna cuss. All right, so let's move. Let's give our picks.
Oh, you got flustered there, Mom. I'm gonna go with number 10, Rushy on top.
Yeah.
I definitely have no issue with your pick, number 3, Art Collector. I think the way to play this race is I think you're all or nothing. I think if you're very much on the filly and you just stand by her, or you try to buy as much of this race as you can, because I think it's all. I mean, if it's on her, I think you could list 6, 7 other horses that could win.
That's kind of the idea I kind of took from it as well. I took the buy approach because I don't really want her to beat me, because I think she's got a lot of talent. So that's kind of where the problem is. It's like I said at the top of when we started this preview for the race. She deserves to be the favorite. She's won 3 graded stakes races in a row. She has speed figures that are consistently better than these horses, or at least right there with them.
I'm with you.
She has Mike Smith. I really don't want to get beat by those, especially if I hit something earlier and I'm alive to something decent here.
Yeah.
So I played her in every multi, but I'm going to go Art Collector on top. I've been a fan of Drury for a long time as a trainer. And like I said, a lot of people don't know who this guy is because he's at small tracks a lot. Claimers, I've always kind of leaned on his horses. I'm excited that he has a high caliber horse, so we'll see what happens with him. There we go.
All right.
Oh man, yeah, it's nice. Nice to know Mom's out there watching.
Let's see. Here's a good one. Kyle Clem, if you own gamine, how hard do you think about the Derby? Well,
I don't. I really don't, because she's not as established as Swiss Skydiver. She just has the one stakes win. I would be thinking
what he's gonna say. Yeah, I was gonna say what he's gonna say is what I would do. Yeah.
I just think give her another prep against fillies, put her in the Oaks, and then if she does well, Preakness. I think that's where that's your best shot at getting that huge, massive win for a filly is the Preakness. And you might get lucky and catch a field that, say, Tis the Law is not running for a Triple Crown. Okay, he may not show up. All of a sudden, is gamine the favorite in the Preakness?
Yeah, if she comes into that race, say she, like you say, wins the Oaks, and then they're like everyone, then it's like, yeah, why would she not be the favorite?
That's where I would totally point her for the Preakness.
Do we really trust though, Kyle, and anyone like that she can get to the Preakness? Like sound. I mean, I would be iffy on that.
I would be too.
Let's see. What do you guys think? What are your thoughts on improving 3-year-olds? Seems like some of them peak sooner than others.
Yeah. So what happens is a lot of them will peak right at that Derby time, Triple Crown time, and then they kind of start to fall off, and then you get the next wave of horses that are peaking, and that's kind of why I'm on our collector. I think he's on that upward trend. I think Rushy's on the upward trend.
You think about so many years in the past where you just have you think about this time of the year and you're just like, where are all the horses? They're all gone.
Because they've all
exactly. And now here we are at a time that you need them,
And that's why a horse even like a Swiss Skydiver, who we just talked about, or a Tis the Law, or the really good horses, that's why they're really good horses. They can hold that form for the whole season.
Yeah.
That's what separates a horse that's just quote unquote good versus a horse that is like an elite caliber. Even if it's an older horse, if you can hold your form through the whole season, that's super impressive.
That's what makes a horse like Tis the Law this year kind of because even Honor AP didn't get really going until later, but Tis the Law has been kind of really not.
You could say he's held his form since his debut as a 2-year-old all the way up till
Tiz?
Tiz.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So that's pretty impressive.
That's no joke, man.
He has been, and this year, he did lose at Churchill as a 2-year-old, but this year he's looked robotic. Every single race is the exact same.
I know.
Get a good spot, sit on the outside. Crush everybody down the lane.
Yeah, just completely annihilate them. So.
And oh, by the way, he's running in races that every 3-year-old wants to win. So that's really impressive. I don't care if the Belmont was a little bit weaker of a race. It's still a race everybody wants to win, and he's just crushing them. So anyway.
Now he goes to the Travers.
Another race everybody wants to win.
Everybody.
So let's see who shows up for this one.
And a Derby that I've heard that people want to win as well. So personally,
I don't want to win the Derby. No,
yeah, exactly.
I'm kidding.
But I think he's going to be vulnerable in the Derby after this kind of campaign. But we'll see.
Yep.
Lots to talk about there coming up. Let's talk we'll go on the air first, or we'll do the start of the pod. But part rapid fire. Let's talk about the makers quickly.
On the air? Okay.
On the show.
Okay, gotcha.
It's today. Yep. Well, it's Friday. And I mean, it's a hell of a race. It's a grade 1. So we'll talk about that real quick on the.
And it's a hell of a drink, too.
It is a hell of a drink. I could use one of those. By the way, drinking Lion Cool Summer Shandy, their Magic. You appreciate that. It's not Miller Lite. So, and I could.
By the way, Mom, I'm not drinking.
I couldn't get him to drink
because I have to drive home after this. She's totally shut us off.
She saw
Facebook,
pop up on Facebook. She's like, "Hey boys," and then that was it.
She was playing like Candy Crush on Facebook. It was like, "Oh, I'll pop in."
That's okay. All right, let's see.
You're still on. You got to comment, Mom. All right.
3, 2, 1. Time for rapid fire, presented by Racing Dudes Inside Track to the 2020 Bluegrass Stakes Wager Guide. It's all inclusive 10-page wager guide to the 2020 Bluegrass Stakes on Saturday at Keeneland. Features in-depth analysis of all 6 stakes on the card, including the $600,000 Toyota Bluegrass Stakes that we just talked about. Plus, get bonus race-by-race analysis and betting suggestions of the entire Keeneland card, now available on the products page at racingdudes.com. So we're going to do the way we do this a lot when we have the big events where we talk about our favorite race, most value, whatever. But before we get to that, today's race at Keeneland, Friday, is the Grade 1 Makers Mile. So this is a big-time race, and a race that we cannot leave off of rapid fire.
Right.
Chad Brown's got a couple in here with Raging Bull, best miler in the world or country, according to Magic.
According to Magic,
And Without Parole, the other Chad Brown here, those are clearly your two top choices, 9-5 Raging Bull, 5-2 on Without Parole. Are you going one of those two here?
Well, I mean, you have to. Chad Brown on the turf. He wins every damn race on the turf. He'll probably run 1-2 in this spot. I went Raging Bull and then Without Parole second. I could see how you would want to flip-flop those. It seems like Without Parole has his name on one of these races at some point. Like, this horse is too good to keep kind of getting weird trips or just not firing. So this could be it. I think it'll be a good race. If you like to watch these Chad Brown horses run against each other, I think it'll be really good. Listen, I think there's enough intrigue in here as well, like War of Will. I think he's interesting. Second off a layoff. He likes Keeneland, and so does his trainer, Mark Cassey. Next Shares is a horse that just kind of shows up every time, gets Johnny Velasquez. So there's a lot of interesting ones in here, but yeah, I mean, I'm not going to go against Chad Brown.
No, it's kind of seems silly to do so, but
yeah.
I definitely think there's a few in here, like English B at 10-1 is at least, if you're looking to beat him, there's opportunities in here. Good luck trying to find one. Raging Bull. I mean, I think he comes in here. This is the most. How can you go against the best miler in the world? Whenever it's Raging Bull.
English B, you mentioned that horse. I have a tough time knowing when that horse, or predicting when that horse is going to fire.
Really likes the distance. You got Grand Motion training.
I can't get synced up with that horse.
I know.
I never can. He almost knocked my ass out last time. He almost, factor this somehow held on to win that race. But I never, and then when I play him, he always sucks. So I have trouble with him sometimes.
Yeah, what? I don't know.
We all have those horses too, right? It's just like they're good, but I can never bet them when they're good.
Yeah, War of Will, I agree. He did run well. So yeah, it's it. I don't know. We'll see. He obviously War of Will last time, faced these horses, Raging Bull Without Parole, and just didn't quite, he's just not that level.
Yeah.
So I definitely could see him because he ran a pretty good number, and then a buyer off of the layoff, and obviously on the turf again. So there's opportunity there for this horse to improve. Blinkers off, Gaffley on back to ride. He could improve here. I definitely wouldn't throw him out. If you definitely want to look for a price, it's sitting there at 6-1 morning line, and everyone's going to be on Chad Brown. So if there's, if you won the race, would I be completely shocked? A little, not completely though. But no, we're both on. Did you go Raging Bull?
Yeah, I went Raging Bull.
Okay, we're both on Raging Bull. Yeah. All right.
Really, Without Parole, doesn't really have a long career of me never getting him right, but he's starting to become that horse. So if he wins this race, it's kind of like, I can't get synced up with him either.
Yeah, well, don't pick if you're picking him, then don't we'll know not to use him.
Right. I think he's live though in this race.
Let's see.
Okay. Are we into the?
Yeah, so we're gonna kick it off with best value race of the day.
Okay.
Let me pull it up here.
We have the same race.
Yeah, we're doing the Shakertown. Just spoiler alert there. For the best race of the best value possible of the day. We both have different picks though. So
really?
Yeah, we have different picks.
Okay, that's good.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. All right, now let's move to Saturday. So the way we do these a lot of times when the big events going on, big race days going on, we got racing going all around the country. It's going to be big. So we're going to do 3 different races each, or at least 3 different horses that we like of these next 3 race with the most value winner possible, the race most likely winner, or most value winner, most likely winner, and then the race we're just generally most excited to watch.
Mm-hmm.
So let's kick it off with, let's do value. The race that we think offers the most value, possible value, and give our pick. So we're on the, spoiler alert, we're on the same race. This is race 6 at Keeneland on Saturday, the Grade 2 Shakertown. Field of 14 in this one, so there's enough to give you an opportunity for some value, but we're going different horses. I'll let you kick it off.
Yeah, I always pick Texas Wedge, and I think this sets up pretty well for him. I really think he's the most consistent horse in the race. I like 6-1, and I think you're going to get that because there's 14 horses in there plus a main track are also eligible. So I really think you're going to get a decent price on him. Texas Wedge, if you're looking for even a bigger price, I like the 13 Leinster as well. He's 12-1, and I do think you'll get every bit of that as well. So the 9 and the 13 in the Shakertown for me, I really think this is going to be just a mess of a race.
Well, let's just throw in a try here, and I'll give you another price, and that's number 11, Tiger Blood at 12-1. A horse that seemingly on paper you say, well, wow, this horse is stepping up big time. But when was the last time you saw Maker, Luis Saez, Maker claims a horse from a $62,000 race, pops him in the greatest stakes race, especially when talking to turf sprinting.
Yeah.
This horse can move. I mean, this horse can, and you know me, I love a horse that just goes to the front and just lays it out there. And you at least have to feel like top the stretch, this horse is going to have something to say about it. Was he good enough or not? We'll find out. But I love that he gets Luis Saez to ride. I love that Mike Maker just jumped straight from that race right here to this one. In a race that I feel like could possibly be stolen. In a race that, like you said, you're picking value. You just named 2 value horses. I think it's a kind of race that, yeah, I mean, those are nice. Bound from Nowhere is a nice horse, and Wildman Jack for O'Neill is a nice horse. But I mean, why not? I would much rather try to take value in this race, especially when you look at the rest of these races that we're going to talk about that are hard to come across when it comes to value.
Well, I think Tiger Blood, if you don't have him on a ticket, you're probably going to be scared at some point because he is going to be out there in front, and he is probably going to turn for home with the lead. And, you know, you're going to have to run him down.
Well,
so
he's a pick. And he's a classic, you know, from so much of the Magic Mike show. He's a classic unknown, you know.
Yeah.
He's got the ton of talent, it looks like. Super fast. Obviously, you haven't seen him in this kind of competition before. Mm-hmm. You kind of look at the writing on the wall, so to speak, and say, well, why are they even running this race, you know? And you picked up a good jockey, and you obviously got a good trainer. I mean, the unknown. So I'm going to take a shot with the unknown at number 11, Tiger Blood.
That race is going to be bonkers.
Yeah.
It always is, and it's going to be crazy.
It's going to be a mad scramble.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
What is this one? Oh.
Most likely winner.
Likely winner, okay. Let me pull that up. We probably could have had the same one, but I'm going to go a different route with mine.
So there's a good question for you while we're sitting here.
Okay.
Didn't Wildman Jack beat Texas Wedge last time out at Santa Anita? What's the difference?
Well, first of all, it's a different track, and you're right. First of all, you are right. He did beat him. Different track. I think the big difference is Texas Wedge is just a little bit more of a consistent horse, and he's proven he can bring it. He brings it to a lot of different tracks. You know, he went down to Gulfstream and won. He runs at Santa Anita. He runs at Del Mar. He went to Belmont last time out and ran really well, got third in a tough race. So, and quite frankly, he's going to be double to triple the price, and I don't think he should be. You know, let me get the margin on how close that race was last time out. I think it was maybe a half length or maybe a length. Let's see here. It was in the Daytona. He beat Sparkyville by a no, so it was 1 length. So, you know, a 1 length difference between the two. I'll take my chances with Texas Wedge to turn the tables.
All right. 3, 2, 1. All right, let's move to the race with the most likely winner in it. And I'm going to switch things up and go to a different track entirely. I think you are too as well. Leave Keeneland. I'm going to go to Belmont Park on Saturday. Race 4, the Ruffian Stakes, Grade 2, with $150K for fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and up on 1 mile, field of 5. But that 5 horse is the one to watch. 2 to 5 on Monomoy Girl. That's right, Monomoy Girl makes her graded stakes appearance of the year. Last time we saw this horse running, it was in May in an allowance race where she just was awesome. Haven't seen her in the graded stakes race since she won the Breeders' Cup Distaff back in November. So here she makes her return, kind of her first big step towards another run at the Distaff. I mean, that's kind of what this seemed like the goal is for her again. Monomoy Girl, you look at this field, the way she runs, even if you want to try to beat her in any kind of angle, whether it be first time because she ran in stakes in a long time or draws, post 5, draws the outside. There's really not. I mean, she is just so much better than this field.
Yeah, I mean, she obviously is probably the most likely winner on the day, and like I said, she towers over the field. It would be the same, but I don't want to do the same race every time. So I actually went to another filly who I think is sneaky good, like kind of under the radar almost right now. They could have a big say in things when it's all said and done. I went all the way to Delaware Park, where fans are allowed to attend. So if you're around, go to. I went to the Delaware Handicap and went to number 2 Dunbar Road, 6-5 morning line. I mean, you're not going to get a good price on this horse. I think 1 1/8 is absolutely what this horse wants to do. And I thought the big telling sign is Irad Ortiz Jr., who could ride anywhere in the country for anybody, says, I'm going to go to Delaware to run Dunbar or to ride Dunbar Road.
Exactly.
That to me, not only for this race, but in the future, maybe make note of that, because he's missing a day at Belmont where he probably win 5 races. I know they're not big races at Belmont on Saturday, but still, he probably win like 5. He could probably have 6-7 mounts at Keeneland.
Yeah, exactly. On good horses.
In all the stakes, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
He goes to Delaware to ride Dunbar Road. Now, he's riding other, but he came for Dunbar Road.
Yeah.
That is a really solid sign for me. So I think Dunbar Road's going to look pretty good in this spot.
And there's something to be said, too. I think a lot of people would kind of want to understand this. Is like sometimes why it's such an important thing is it's like, well, yeah, why would he give up that? If one they just assume he's established and whenever they need him for a big race, they'll use him. But sometimes that's not the case. Yeah. And if a jockey gets hurt, we saw it with Ete Indien whenever Flo got the mount and he just stayed on the mount because
regular rider was hurt.
Exactly. Yeah. And so sometimes, say Irad doesn't go and they pick up someone else and this horse it looks amazing. Yeah. Well, guess what? There's no reason to switch the jockey from there, and that horse could run all the way to the Breeders' Cup, and Irad's not on it. So there's something to be said about these jockeys making these decisions when it's like, well, why would he go all the way to Delaware and skip a day, like you said, of all this big racing? Well, that's why, because that's their horse.
It's not so much about his riding skills. Like sometimes I'll ride in a preview. It's like, and they pick up Irad, and that's a great sign. It's not because all of a sudden he's going to move the horse up 6 or 7 lengths. It's because his agent and his team and him himself, they know the horse is better than we do, and they scouted it out, and it's like, okay, this horse is elite,
Right.
So I'm hopping on him because he's going to win. And in this case, I'm sticking with Dunbar Road because I don't want to lose that mount because I think she's got big races ahead of her. Not that this one isn't. I mean, the Delaware Handicap is a $400,000 race, which is pretty good money for what she's facing, which is nothing. So
shit, you talk about. Man, talk about Chad Brown having horses.
It's unreal.
Because when we talk, I don't know if you might mention Rushing Fall coming up, but Rushing Fall coming at Keeneland. Then you've got Guarna that's going to run in the Madison. Another horse. I mean, that horse is even money favorite.
Should win.
All those Guarna, Dunbar, and Rushing Fall. At least 2 of those 3 should at this point should be Breeders' Cup favorites in the races they're running in. So. It's good to be Chad Brown right now.
Yes, it is.
And that's what you mentioned. Newspaper Records, Sister Charlie, Uni. Who am I missing? Raging Bull, who we talked running on Friday. I mean, shit. I mean, it's insane. He's got the horses. I mean, he's got top level horses. But anyways, so I think that's a very valid horse to pick there at Delmar. There you go. There's a question for you. Is Dunbar Road a good single in pick 5?
Yes. I just can't see the horse losing. Just to kind of, if we got a second, I'll expand on the field. It's just like, I don't know if she does lose, it could be any of the other 7 in the race because they all kind of look the same, and then she stands out tremendously. So yeah, I think she's the easy single in that pick 5. Which, by the way, you're going to need a single because it's a tough pick 5 at Delaware.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to take your shot on the horse you feel like is going to win.
So just real quick, the pick 5.
Magic, you still on here? Is Speech going to run in the Ashland? For sure. We've kind of gone back and forth on that. I think last I saw that she was, but. I don't know. Oh, look at that. Sweet shirt, dude.
Oh, nice, man. That's awesome. I'm looking. Have they taken? Where the hell is this pick 5? Pick 4. Weird. I don't see it listed. Anyway, yeah. But Delaware's got a pretty good card Saturday.
Who went straight up 9 furlongs? Swiss Skydiver or Gamine? Like a 7-horse field. Oh gosh.
Ooh, 9 furlongs.
If we're talking like right now,
Yeah,
I
think
probably Gamine as where I'd lean.
Yeah.
But who's gonna be? I mean, I don't know.
That's tough. I think Gamine is who I would take. She kind of just, I don't know. She kind of might be in her own world.
Let's see. Speech. Like narrowing that down.
Yeah, you're not gonna find that out. Oh, did somebody ask what race she's in?
No, I just wanted to be clear on the pod. I think. I mean, we'll just assume she's running. I guess
In the Ashland.
in the Ashland.
Yeah.
You think Swiss Skydiver goes off at less than 3-1?
Yes. Yeah, I do. I think I said 8 to 5 or 9 to 5 when we were doing the preview, but I do think she's a favorite and she's a deserving favorite, and people bet fillies in these races for whatever reason. So I think that's a factor. And just when you look at the paper, you're gonna probably say that's the best horse in the race.
Yeah, I mean she is on paper. She's most consistent, the highest level. Been running consistent numbers.
And that's the thing. If I was confident the horse would stay at 3-1 or 7-2, I would be a lot more likely to say, yeah, okay, I could take that on her.
Yeah.
But I just think 7, 8 to 5, 9 to 5 is just pretty likely that that's what we're going to get.
Here's the other thing, and I'll just be really blunt about it. We're not recording on our own pod, but no, it's like how much like can you imagine a world where you see McPeak and like him having like a top level filly that's gonna go challenge the Kentucky? I mean, I guess if there's ever a year to do it, this is the year. But to me, I just can't get over the fact. Like, I just can't get past the fact if it's Baffert and he's bringing this horse in, and if it's Gamine, you're like, well, shit, yeah, I can see it. But it's just like you're kind of waiting for the kind of Swiss Skydiver to kind of go back to reality a little bit. I feel like, but
yeah, no, I agree with you.
Because what's funny, I was thinking about this. You talk about, and we're going to talk about that race a little bit here. We're talking about her a little bit coming up with Swiss Skydiver and Venetian Harbor. When Venetian Harbor lost to her at Oaklawn, you kind of thought, damn, this Swiss Skydiver, I guess this is a horse I need to like pay attention to.
Yeah.
Because at that time she wasn't really, but she wasn't really there yet.
Right.
So it just kind of still feels like she's exceeded so much of the expectations where you're like, damn, when is it going to come back? But
yeah, it does.
Maybe it doesn't.
It does feel that way. We always talk about on the show, we love McPeak at a price.
Oh, yeah. That's one of my favorite angles.
And something that happened last year at Saratoga, McPeak, when he got Jose Ortiz, man, I love that. We got some prices on him, and people started to kind of figure it out. Oh, when Jose's on, McPeak's got a live runner. We got some prices early in the meet, and that was a good tell sign. So he's a very – we kind of give him a hard time, but he's a very bettable trainer. But the one thing we've always on this show have been against is McPeak as a favorite.
Yeah.
In stakes races. We just don't play him a lot because they just don't win a whole lot. But, I remember singling her in the Santa Anita Oaks in a freaking 3 or 4 horse field and being a little nervous because, and I don't really know if that's a knock on him necessarily. It's just like he usually doesn't have the high ass caliber horses.
No.
Like this.
Yeah, this is where that's what I'm saying. It's like you're just kind of like waiting. His
horses that are favorites in stakes races have pulled an upset somewhere, and then they go to a spot, and it's like, yeah, he's like a lukewarm favorite, beatable. Mm-hmm. That's why I feel like every time with him.
And the times that you've had a horse that's kind of really done well, you're just like, it never fails. That horse is gone eventually. Like it just never sticks around.
It's like a golden ticket was a perfect example. Like when that horse was 15-1, use it. When that horse was in a race in 3 or 4-1, just throw it out. And that's kind of what we did with that horse a lot. So
I think we just kind of talked about it there, this guy.
Someone doesn't like Swiss Skydiver this week. What do you guys think?
like we've kind of talked about it.
Well, Samich, I think, is stronger against her than we are.
Yeah, but Samich is angry. I mean, that doesn't surprise me one bit because that's the way he plays.
So you understand Samich, okay. And Ricky and I have actually talked about this because Ricky does a lot of handicapping for the site as well. I look at Swiss Skydivers. Ricky looks at Swiss Skydiver and go, well, I'm going to try to beat her, but I don't want her beating me, so I'm going to kind of hedge my bets, and I'm not going to bet her to win, but I am going to put her in a pick 4. Samich sees that and says, favorite, don't like her, don't think she's going to win. I don't care about anything else. She's out. She's completely out. He did that with Newspaper of Record a few weeks back, and it cost him. He's done that other times, and he's hit $3,000. That's what you have to understand about Samich. It's a lot of times it is all or nothing with him.
Yeah.
But when it's all, it's a lot.
Yeah.
So that's the trade-off.
You would see him more single a horse that's 5-1 versus 2-5.
Absolutely. He may single in the bluegrass, and it's not her.
Yeah.
That's his strategy.
But that's what works.
Yep.
For
exactly.
him.
That's what works for him.
Exactly. For
that's
him.
his style. Yep.
Yeah. And you can't. I mean, that's just. It's uncomfortable for a lot of people, but it's just the way it works. So
yeah.
So yeah. I mean, it doesn't surprise me that he doesn't like her.
No.
All right. Let's get to the race we're most excited to watch because I am excited to watch this.
Okay. I'm more excited to watch mine.
Okay. We'll see.
All right.
3, 2, and 1. All right, and finally, the race we're most excited to watch on the weekend. This is always my favorite category. So I'll let you kick it off. What you got?
All right. Well, the Jenny Wiley for me is the easy answer. Rushing Fall, who I love watching no matter who she's facing, faces Jolie Olympica. This is a race I never dreamed would happen, right? Because one's in California, one's in New York.
Right. Especially not here.
And they seem to be in different divisions, right? Like Jolie's more of a sprinter. Rushing Fall is more of the 2-turn horse. And bam, there they show up right here in this race together. 2 of my favorite horses on opposite coasts. I can't wait for this. This is going to be awesome. I don't care who wins. I just am excited to watch it.
It's going to be interesting for sure because you're going to have obviously Rushing Fall, a horse that has looked so good in return, and is a horse that just can really look amazing at times, and it definitely goes to the front, has plenty of speed, and a horse like Jolie, who you would see, especially considering the horse is going. It's a horse that won last time out of grade 2, going 5.5 furlongs.
I know.
And it's just insane to think here we are running this distance. You know the horse is going to show speed. You know Mike Smith's going to show speed with this horse. And so what is that going to do to Rushing Fall?
And look who she beat last time out going 5.5 furlongs. Alexandra, who came back to beat the boys in the Jaipur on Belmont Day. So it's not like she beat a slouch.
This is exactly
this is
why,
a really good horse.
This is exactly why I decided to use Monomoy Girl as my most likely winner of the day, not Rushing Fall, because that horse right there, not thinking she can win, but it's just going to have enough of an issue with Rushing Fall that it's going to give me pause.
Yeah, I mean, this is a world-class type and against another world-class type. So yeah, it's going to be fun. I can't wait for that one.
Let's go back-to-back races here.
Okay.
What races we're most excited to watch? Now I'm going to go with race 7. The Ashland, which is, of course, a Kentucky Oaks prep race on the card, a race that Swiss Skydiver opted to not run in, which would have made the race even more incredible. But, man, you've got Venetian Harbor, who last time out was beaten by Swiss Skydiver, like I mentioned in the fantasy. Bonnie South, the horse coming in. I hadn't seen in a while. You and I both were like, man, where's this horse been? And out of the Fairground Oaks, winner really impressive for Juddmonte Farms' Brad Cox. And then Speech for Mike McCarthy and, of course, Castellano. That Speech. What's interesting is you've got 2 horses in the race, Speech and Venetian Harbor, who both kind of came into the races as pretty top level horses, and both got hammered by Swiss Skydiver. So now you're like, well, which one is actually going to rebound off of that, if either?
This is going to be a hell of a race.
This is why I like this race so much, is because there's so many factors to it. You've got monsters. Like, I feel like these horses are capable of being Bonnie South, Venetian Harbor, Speech. Are all very. Tonal Shape is a pretty decent horse in her right.
Tonal Shape has lost one race her whole career and is 6-1 in a 6-horse field.
I know. I mean, just no respect whatsoever.
And is deserving to be 6-1.
The race she lost, guess who beat her? Well, a lot of them, but Swiss Skydiver won the
Swiss Diver
race,
won
which is
the
funny
race,
because I mean, she's just hammering everyone, which kind of gives you a lot of like affirmation or like confirmation why they're running Swiss Skydiver in the Bluegrass, because she's beating the shit out of all these other horses that she would have faced in this race.
So okay, to me, this is what this race comes down to. You have Venetian Harbor. Can she get a mile and 16th?
That's it.
And if she starts to slow down, I think Bonnie South will mow her down. Okay, here's why. She last time out, Fairground Oaks, Grade 2 race, she was 6-1, and she won easy. She motored past them, but it's not even that. 2 races back at Oaklawn in an allowance, she beat She Dares the Devil.
Mm-hmm.
That horse is damn good.
Yeah, just
That
came back to win the
dominated the
Indiana Oaks. Yeah,
dominated a race at Churchill. I mean, heavy hitters in this horse's face them. She beat her. So to me, if Venetian Harbor starts to slow down, Bonnie South's going to be the one to motor home and beat her. But she's going to have to slow down, because if she doesn't, I think Venetian Harbor wins.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I picked Venetian Harbor. You know, whenever she lost in the fantasy to Swiss Skydiver that day, and you and I both really liked Venetian, we just told people, I said, listen, she ran like I thought she would run. Yeah. Like Swiss Skydiver is just a better horse than we gave her credit for, and it showed. I don't know if it was necessarily a distance thing for her, if it was more just Swiss Skydivers are really good. I think we've proven that, considering all these horses we're listing in this race, that she's beaten. So I'm still gonna. You know, Venetian Harbor has ran, you know, since debuting on the turf, has ran a 94, a 92, and a 95 buyer. I mean, she's consistent as hell. She has at 6.5 furlongs, a mile, and a mile 16. So you really look like you. So you sit there and say, well, the fantasy, she can't get a mile 16. Well, she ran a career high buyer, going a career high long distance. So it's like, well, I'm willing to say, okay, let's see her one more time to see if I can actually say. So I'm going to go with her on top. But I think it's going to be a hell of a fun race. That's why I picked this race the race I'm most excited to watch, because you see her at the top of the stretch. You know I love a horse that throws it down. How good is Bonnie South? You know, how good is Speech?
Well, let's talk about Speech. 4 straight seconds in the last 3 races. She's been beaten by Donna Veloce. Gamine by a neck.
Yep.
In a race where Gamine is probably going to get disqualified.
Juice to the moon in that one.
Exactly. And then Swiss Skydiver.
Yep.
So that's a pretty damn good horse.
I know, exactly. Yep. So but then it's like, well, then you could justifiably see that list, add one more and say, well, she got beat by Venetian Harbor that day too.
Yeah.
It's like she just keeps getting beat by really good horses. So it wouldn't surprise you.
I wish she would run in the Beaumont on Friday, just because I think she would win that race.
Yeah.
I'd like to see her win one.
So yeah, just for the record, she is entered in the Beaumont as well on today, Friday. If she runs, I mean, we hear she is going to aim for this one. But if she doesn't, then that would obviously make things a lot easier today if she did. But make the race go down to a 5-horse field in this race in the Ashland. But hell of a race for a 6-horse field is probably the most excited I've been, because you have such a. I mean, it'd be kind of cool to see like at Venetian Harbor. It'd be kind of neat to see Venetian Harbor win, and then a few races later, Swiss Skydiver win. And you're like, damn, how good is Swiss Skydiver?
I know, yeah,
because she really dominated her in the fantasy that day.
Yeah.
And like, how good is this horse?
Yep.
She's just beating everybody.
Yep.
So, anyways, the Ashland,
awesome.
One to watch on Saturday.
I thought we'd have a 2-hour pod.
I know.
It's gonna be an hour.
It's gonna be around the dot.
Yep. That'd be good. There's plenty of just plenty of races all around.
Let's see. Appreciate it. Yeah, we're gonna talk a little bit here on the outro. Anything you guys want us to, if we didn't cover it on the actual pod, this is obviously off air right now that you're going to hear on the live or on the recorded version. But anything that you want us to mention on the closing, that any questions you have, we'll mention it, because we usually kind of just bullshit on the end. So
that's correct.
We
do the best.
We are awesome bullshitters.
Yes. Yep.
Let's see here. All right. We did have some people ask, like, so some of them, like, you should have started getting. I saw some people on Twitter, some shirts coming in. So if you ordered shirts from us, they're coming in. I think when we ordered them, they weren't quite in yet, but we're going to have ours on tomorrow, so I'm pumped about that. So you'll start seeing us basically wearing our shirts every time we do this.
Yeah, I've heard a few people. Well, we had the picture of one guy that had. I think Taylor had one, and then we had a text from a couple of the people that did. So they're out there. They've been shipped.
Let's see. All right. 3, 2, 1. So tell me, check out racingnews.com for free picks and a premium selection on our handicap products page. Click the products link in the main menu at racingnews.com to learn more. Remember to go check out that 10-page inside track to the Bluegrass Wager Guide for this Saturday at Keeneland, covering all 6 stakes. We didn't cover all of them on this podcast, so it covers all 6 stakes plus the entire card. So the entire card on that wager guide, 10 pages, everything you need to cash in huge on Saturday. Currently covering, what are we at?
We're over 30. Let's say that.
30 plus tracks.
Yeah.
All offering free picks on Twitter at RacersWithDudes, Instagram and Facebook. Listed on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play Music, Teacher, even the website racers.com. We're adding Del Mar this weekend. We're adding Saratoga next week. Yeah. And then we're going to be sitting there looking, we're going to be staring August right in the face.
That's right.
And then you're talking a month out from the Kentucky Derby. So then you're talking final preps. And then you're talking 2 months out from the freaking Preakness. And then you're talking 3 months out from the Breeders' Cup. And so it's like a month, and then boom.
So we talked about it. You mentioned the Derby. We talk about this almost every week. Fans at the Derby, what do you think now after we have another week of information?
Oh, gosh.
It ain't looking good, I don't think.
I think they're going to have it. It's either going to be they're going to have it and it's going to be reduced fans, like a massive reduction of fans, or not at all. Because the Chiefs have been the first team in the NFL to come out and say, which I don't know if you saw this, but they're the first team to say, listen, we're going to cut it down. Like there's actually season ticket holders that aren't going to be able to go because of what they're doing.
Yeah.
That's a huge, I mean, you're talking about defending Super Bowl champions and they're saying, well, listen, we're going to have to cut people off. And if that's what they're saying, then I'd say I'd be hard pressed. That's kind of what I've been basing all this off of. It's like, well, the NFL starts the same week, so if they're doing it, then the Derby or vice versa. So now you've got that, someone saying the defending Super Bowl champions being like, listen, we're not going to mess around with this already, and it's July. So I mean, I think it's definitely tracking the wrong way.
Yeah. So 2 other big pieces of news. That was a huge one. I saw that as well and thought, ooh, that's not good. And 2 other big pieces of news. The Ivy League has said no fall sports, which I know a lot of the big, conferences kind of sneezed at. Fans of the big conference, like, who cares about the Ivy League? Well, it's not really not a good sign when the smartest institutions in this country have said no to it. That's not good. And the Big Ten came out today and said no out-of-conference play for any fall sports, including football. So that's 3 to 4 games for teams.
That's huge for football, for sure.
So will all the other conferences fall into that? If one conference does it, it's going to be hard. You've lost games immediately. So not good there at all. I kind of think all conference matchups is what we're going to see.
It's gonna be a weird year for football, for all sports, frankly.
And I think another big test is going to be how does the NBA, the NHL, and Major League Baseball, how are these experiments going to go? Because you got supposedly end of the month, all of them are going to be playing, right? How do they go? What happens? That's going to be a domino that's going to fall. Unfortunately for football and for like the Kentucky Derby. We've said it from the start, right? Breeders' Cup, Preakness, Kentucky Derby, Belmont, and Saratoga. Those are the spots, and we'll throw in Oklahoma as well, where attendance really, really matters. Mm-hmm. So other than that, we can operate. Our day-to-day operations really, they haven't been affected too much, considering what's happened.
I know. The Derby, as far as we go, even the Belmont was weird, obviously. But the Derby is the one where it's such a festivity, and you got the crazy amount of people that are there, and
it's a whole week.
It's just an event, and the fact that it's not just for racing, but it's for the whole industry, or for the whole area. All the kind of money that comes into that area for the Kentucky Derby that won't happen. So it's a bigger effect than it is just the Kentucky Derby and just for horse racing.
That's my biggest concern about Saratoga Springs is the revenue that's lost.
It's gonna be bad.
I mean, you think of just you and I when you calculate everything we spend within the town. I'm not talking about the track even.
Not just alcohol.
Well, food and alcohol and whatever.
Yeah.
They've lost over. I'm not going to put a number on. They've lost thousands from us. Just you and I.
Yeah, exactly.
Times that by so many people. That is sad stuff. What will that town look like? Let's say 2021 when we're finally back. Hopefully we're finally back. I don't know.
It's like I don't want to get into it, but it's just not something that's going to go away either. So even next year, it's going to be. It's going to be like the flu or whatever. You're gonna have to, you're gonna be around people. You're gonna have to figure it out. Anyways, it sucks. It sucks. But we're making the best of it, and we do have, we have derby preps going on right now, and all things aside, I feel like we're gonna look back and say, 2020 remember that year that was rough, but remember that was also the year that we didn't run the Belmont until the summer, and we ran the Travers with no fans, but this horse, Tiz Law had won the first, whatever it is. Like, I just feel like we can make something out of this.
I will say this: and I think we're going to do it. No reason to think so now. If we can go this whole year without missing, I know tons of tracks shut down, but if we can go the whole year and never miss a day, meaning there at least was something running each day
all year.
That is one of the greatest accomplishments by any sport ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
Zero shutdown.
That would be unbelievable.
Zero shutdown. There's always something running.
The only day, obviously, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, those don't count because we never have tracks then. But for the other 363 days, if we had at least one track in the United States running, it's unbelievable.
And you definitely would not have thought that the one sport out of all of them, the horse racing would be the one that stuck around and kept things going. So it's unreal. It'll be crazy to see how this unfolds.
Yeah.
As we kind of evolve into the next phase of these sports opening back up and what happens. As a sports fan, I'm so excited to have something else to watch other than, don't get me wrong, we watch horse racing if it's on, whether it's sports are on or not, but it's nice to flip on and watch. At this point, I'd be like, I'd watch a baseball game. I'd watch a whole baseball game.
I would too. And
and that says a lot.
Other than playoff baseball, right. I don't watch that ever. Not from first inning to ninth
inning. Here's a question before we hop off here.
Okay.
In the Appalachian, can Enola Gay win the rest with the Lippers back on?
I think there's a shot. I wouldn't write that horse off. That was one. It's like I almost picked to win even. So
there you go.
And I just didn't have the guts to do it. That horse showed a lot in her debut last year. So we'll see. But Alms was just too good. I couldn't go against Alms. But yeah, Enola Gay is definitely one I look pretty hard at. I wouldn't be afraid to play her. Put it that way.
Yeah, for a small 6-horse field. It's got some nice little horses in there.
Yeah, you got Waka Marrakesh who just seems to always almost be there.
I know.
But this is an easy field compared to what she's been facing. But the problem is it is for Alms. Alms undefeated other than that last race, and that last race was super tough. That was a really tough race at Churchill, and she only lost by a couple. So even if she runs that race back, I think she's good enough.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for joining us, everybody. I'm Jared Welch. By the way, Magic Mike, if you haven't seen, for those watching, if you haven't seen them, they've already had a show. If you're listening, go watch or listen to their show right now. They're doing a late pick 4 at Del Mar. So, of course, Magic's all about the Del Mar. And
you better have some Bing Crosby in that show.
We'll see. He's editing it probably right now as we speak. Go check out the Magic Mike show for that Del Mar action. All right, I'm Jared Welch. He's Aaron Alterman. Good luck this weekend.
Okay. You gave him over now.
Give people what they wanted.
That's right. Yeah. I don't know if they wanted it, but
All right. Thank you so much for joining us. Any last minute questions while we wrap this up here? Let us know.
Yeah, if you got a little more, we'll answer.
We'll probably have. I'm gonna get a guess that we will be looking to do a live, some live feed action on Saturday during the chaos that's happening throughout the country, whether it be Belmont, Del Mar, and of course Keeneland. So we'll definitely be on. All us on there drinking, having fun, watching these races. So definitely tune in for that. It'll be sometime during Saturday. So if you haven't subscribed, you don't follow us, whatever, make sure you do so you get alerted when we do that.
So I got a stressful weekend. I got to pack up my entire house. So I probably will be drinking Saturday by the time that show comes up.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Well, it's going to be awful. And I'm going to be homeless. So
you're packing your stuff to live nowhere.
Right. Yeah, for at least 4 or 5 days.
Hey, poor guy.
Yeah.
I know you're going to live, though, so I don't feel bad for you.
Yeah, that's true. It's going to be all right once we get unpacked or once we get it to we have a place to live. Yeah.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you this weekend.